Ready, Dave?
Dave, before I get into the nitty-gritty, more of the nitty-gritty of the World's Fair, just as a song, what are your thoughts about this song? Because I don't want to hog the mic.
I think it's romantic. I think it's a very romantic song that makes me believe that everybody has a soulmate.
But even if you never meet the soulmate,
maybe
you grow
especially
old
if you
die.
never meet the soulmate.
In the glow of each other's majestic presence, listen and hear my words to the ones you would think I would say.
So you think, so your view of the song is that that's enough?
My view of the song is that all the other stuff that's thrown in is kind of distractions that get in the way of what your actual destiny is. So, they're talking about, okay, the World's Fair, who had been there kind of being a day late and $1 short. It's like all these things get in the way of what the main objective should be. Like maybe if you weren't distracted by the grand ideas of the World's Fair, you would have been focused on what was going to be important to your destiny, which is finding this one person that means something to you.
650 acres and over 200 exhibitors. Here is being built the biggest, most fascinating show ever created by man. Already there is being built a fantasy of color and shapes that promise one of the most exciting events of our time.
Or if your person is halfway across the globe, what are the steps you can do, even if you don't know that's what you need to do? What are the steps you can do to fulfill your destiny? Interesting.
See, I feel like I have some contradicting ideas there. I mean,
well, that's what we call podcast dynamite.
The idea of the World's Fair is like that would be the one time when everyone from around the world converges, right? Into this one thing, and that also is kind of what the Unisphere is like, because you have all these like steel beams kind of bending and converging to points, right? So it's like the narrator in the song, that would be the time when he would meet the soulmate that lives on the other side of the world, and he just misses her in the song.
Right.
And
because he didn't have his eyes on the prize.
This is like devastatingly sad to talk about.
Still romantic.
And when, sure. I mean, no one said romance is like
not devastating.
Not tragic or,
I believe Romeo and Juliet figured that out.
A little person named Mr. Romeo, Shakespeare.
I believe Shakespeare said that.
So, this song definitely used to trip me up when I was younger and
like
single.
this and
when we talk about She's an Angel, and the other one being that kind of thing of how is this possible? How can I even do this? How can I meet someone like this?
Is there a story behind Anna Ing, or is it just some made up?
It's just a made up song.
The lyrics are really, they tend to really stick in your head.
Thanks.
Well, that's good to hear. The majestic presence, it's almost like a satire on all that crystal stuff and everything.
Well, it's a sincere song, basically.
Anna Ing is covering a lot of ground in like freaking 2.5 minutes or whatever, right? Not counting the long fade out. The lyrics are just cryptic and clear enough to kind of appeal to everyone. So like even let's say the kind of They Might Be Giants fan that isn't like me, that isn't obsessing about all the lyrics, they can listen to Anna Ing a few times and grok its meaning. It's no less dense and poetic, but it is making itself. I mean, look, maybe Linnell doesn't even know which songs of his make themselves clear, right? Maybe because sometimes you don't know. I've certainly made things that I think is obvious and then other people don't get it, or vice versa, right? But I think Anna Ing is sort of an exceptional song in the way that it's just riddled with connections and thematic imagery, and it's very cinematic. It's very accessible too for the even like the MTV VJ who's just like, what's with this song,
Yeah.
Like they can understand it even.
Yeah, well, I mean, even if you just take the chorus alone at face value, it's about two people that have not found love.
Yeah, the chorus line where we're getting old, those 3 words are, anyone can kind of see
and haven't met yet.
The sadness and the wistfulness.
Getting old and we still haven't walked in the glow of each other's majestic presence. Listen and hear my words to the ones you would think I would say.
Dave, I am holding a collection of Pogo comic strips because I am a nerd. Partly because of mainly because of They Might Be Giants. I got way into Pogo like 15 years ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I was really talking up Pogo a lot for a while.
You were going to get a Pogo tattoo.
No. What I had said was if I were to ever get a tattoo, which I would never do, because I'm a fun guy, Pogo would be. Our friend Sam had said to me, you should get a Pogo tattoo if you were to ever get one. And I thought that was a funny idea.
We were both going to get tattoos. You were going to get Pogo, and I was going to get Felix the cat.
No, we weren't. I know myself. I would never get one.
I'm just kind of fucking with Jordan in case the audience didn't get that.
But our friend Sam,
you said you were going to get a giant back tattoo and a tramp stamp.
So in Pogo,
with Walt Kelly's face.
So Fantagraphics put out these great Pogo collections that are in order. So in volume 3, and Dave, I'm going to turn to the page. And so this is not Wikipedia. This is a real book I'm holding, people.
Wait. I don't get it.
You can't click on anything.
Can you make it bigger by stretching it?
Yeah, don't.
I can't see it.
No, it's priceless.
There's a cartoon I read as a kid in which a character shoots a gun through a globe to find out where the other side of the world is. So that was sort of the beginning. The name Ang seems to be a Vietnamese name. There's about 3 pages of them in the Manhattan phone book. So if you look at the globe, you find Vietnam, you'll see that the opposite side of the world from Vietnam is Peru. So the song presumably is about somebody in Peru writing about someone in Vietnam. But I didn't know that when I wrote it.
There it is, everybody.
So Sunday, August 9th, 1953, has the strip where a character, it's Churchy LaFemme, the turtle. It's a funny comic. Look.
I love that name. For the Simpsons reference.
He pulls out a gun, and, they're trying to figure out where a friend of theirs, Albert the alligator.
Are you sure his name's not Pussyfoot?
Yeah. Albert the alligator is taking a trip, and they're trying to figure out how he's going to get to China. So Churchill LaFemme takes out a revolver and shoots it, which I remember Linnell said he thought was quite shocking to see in a comic strip a character pull out a giant gun out of nowhere. And, Pogo says, Churchy, how could you? You drilled a bullseye clean through the mortal garden of George's heart. I love that. So Walt Kelly...
The strange comic strip.
Walt Kelly is such a freaking genius. They Might Be Giants have covered a few of his songs.
Yeah,
They covered Lines Upon a Tranquil Brow and Whence That Wince.
Have you ever, while wandering the ways of the morn, thought to save just a bit, just a drop in the horn, to pour in the evening or late afternoon, or during the night when we're shining on...
He might be a little too intellectual even for me.
Yeah,
he gets a little obtuse at times.
These books have some footnotes. I would almost want more because there's a lot. So what Linnell has said he takes from Walt Kelly inspirationally is there's just so much wordplay. There's so many puns.
Yeah, I could see that.
They fly out fast and just constant.
He's the Oscar Wilde of the funny pages.
It seems like, maybe it was, I wouldn't assume it was effortless, but just the way he writes, it just poured out of him. And he's just a great cartoonist.
He's a really good artist.
He actually animated some of Dumbo. He animated He animated the tent silhouettes in Dumbo and the clowns. You remember that scene?
Yeah, no, I love Dumbo.
That's Walt Kelly, apparently.
You don't got a Dumbo-splain to me.
So he took inspiration from this. And I also think, again, this to me, not that it's the 60s, but this ties into the American history thing, taking a really big thing from a comic strip from the 50s that was very American comic strip. It deals with American issues. This volume really deals a lot with Joseph McCarthy and communist crap.
Yeah.
So, again, that's what I mean is there's a lot of thematic stuff that just all ties together. So there's a black and white version of this strip on the Wikipedia, but I posted on our Twitter today a photo of me holding the color version from the book just to show.
Folks, you won't get that anywhere else.
Just to show that
Don't Let's Pod.
Yeah. Just to show I have the book because I love Pogo. Pogo's really, really good. Everyone check out Pogo if you like, kind of funny, but also kind of densely worded, fun comic strips. And the album Songs of the Pogo that Walt Kelly made John Linnell said it's probably his biggest influence, which if you hear it, you can totally see why.
Oh, the parsnips were snipping their snappers, while the parsley was parceling the peas. And parsing a sentence from handle to hand was a hornet who hummed with the bees. The turnips were passing the time of the day in the night of the moon on the porch, with the shade from the shadows so short for they shrift that the scallions were screeched in the scorch.
So that's the pogo of it all. And that's going to be our new sign off, I think. Yeah. Dave, did you want to say anything before I go more into like the lyrical references and the setting of the 64 World's Fair? Do you want to say anything musically about the song, or any what were you thinking about the way that just the song is?
The only thing I'll say musically about it, I know that later on they were saying it shouldn't have been recorded as fast.
So there's this weird thing when you're in a band and you're approaching your 90s like we are, that when you make decisions about changing the tempo on songs, people might think that you're actually slowly dying. When in fact you're just trying to improve your music. But we can't go back in time and fix it. So we just play it slower, and then people realize we're dying. So this next song asks the musical question: are we simply playing it at the appropriate tempo, or slowly dying before your eyes, or both? What is it?
I think it's the perfect tempo on the album. I think it has that sense of urgency and kind of like starting an album, and it's a little bit punk rock. Mm-hmm. When they play it live,
slightly too fast. That's per what they say. To me, it always felt right because that's all we knew.
Yeah. No, I think it needs that energy to it. And when they play it live at a slightly slower tempo, it's still great.
Sometimes a lot slower.
Yeah, it's just like on the severe tire damage, for example. Mm-hmm. It's just a very different feel, and it doesn't have that urgency of having to find your soulmate with a countdown.
Yeah, that's a good point. The urgency feels right for the song. The only thing, maybe they just think it's a little too goofy sounding with the way the guitar, the instrumentation, like dan, dan, dan. Maybe they just think it's too fast because it makes it sound comical. I don't think so. I think it sounds soulful. And so lyrically, I was about to say the best verse, but looking at the lyrics, I really think all the verses are really magical. Again, I'm like super like hard on my sleeve about this album. I just love everything.
Well, also, I mean, it's not just you, Jordan. Like, this is probably a top 3 song for everybody. I mean, it's this and Birdhousing Your Soul and
Mr. Excitement, I think.
Yeah.
So look, the second verse.
All alone at the 64 World's Fair, 80 dolls yelling small girl after all. Who was at the Dupont Pavilion? Why was the bench still warm? Who had been there?
All alone at the 64 World's Fair. So 80 dolls yelling small girl after all, to me, when I was younger, this was like a monumental lyric. The monumental lyric got me high. The idea that you're mishearing another song in your song.
Yeah.
Because your mind is somewhere else, because your mind is thinking about something else, is one of my favorite things in all lyrics. You seem a little confused, Dave. So the way
That's just my face.
No, yeah.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, just the idea that he's thinking about meeting this girl, right?
Right.
He's saying like, why was the bench still warm? Who'd been there? Because he's, that to me establishes as much as what, again, it's lyrics. So it's not like a novel. So it's kind of funny to say it establishes as if it's so concrete. But this song is pretty concrete in terms of like I said, the time and place. He's thinking about the girl. So when he hears in the distance, or maybe he's on the ride, right?
Pepsi-Cola presents Walt Disney's It's a Small World.
Our exhibit, called It's a Small World, is a salute to the United Nations Children's Fund, a worldwide organization that is working for a better tomorrow by helping the children of today. Our musical fantasy features the songs and dances of youngsters from more than 100 nations, each singing in his own native language.
So either he hears it in the distance, which I guess feels right for the song, and because he's thinking about this girl that he's imagining, he mishears the line like that. That's so sad. It's so dreamlike, and it's very full of meaning to me. I don't know, Dave, do you have any thoughts, or are you just kind of like entertained by my...
I am entertained. I'm always entertained by you, buddy. But I think...
I'm juggling right now.
I think 80 dolls saying anything...
Oh, so you're tying it more to the Disney Lincoln thing. See, that's funny. I certainly can see the creep factor, but to me it was always more sad. It was always more that it's like the world, when it's like you can't stop thinking about something. I can't stop thinking about They Might Be Giants since we started this podcast. I was up till 6:30 a.m. last night thinking about severe tire damage and imagining talking to you about it.
I feel really bad for you.
This is how my brain is going since we started this podcast, and it's kind of a living nightmare. So, but when you can't stop thinking about something, you hear it everywhere, and it's not just that; it's that the verse right after it, when the storm tangled up the wire, and it kind of distorted the message coming from the horn on the pole, right?
Yeah.
So the theme of just not hearing something right is throughout the song. That's why it says the edge of hearing. The edge of hearing is when you barely hear something, right?
Yeah.
So to me, it all connects to that. And they changed this for Severe Tire Damage, which is this is an album I'm really excited to talk about with you one day.
Severe Tire Damage.
Yeah, so the original version of Anna Ng, for the bridge, Flansburgh just made like a crackling noise, right? And I didn't think about it until this week that it's like, that's like the tangled wire horn. It's like the message not getting through, right? And of course, they changed that for Severe Tire Damage to like some overdubbed thing of Flansburgh saying, I don't want the world. Which, again, I can't wait to talk about that album because I have a lot of issues with that album or compilation or whatever the hell it is. I don't even know what it is. But so the idea of things being out of reach, you can't hear it. Things are out of reach. The girl of your dreams is out of reach, or the person of your dreams is out of reach. And at the 64 World's Fair, when everyone's celebrating and unifying and coming together, nothing feels more alienated and alone from everything than this narrator. This is why this song is so freaking great, right? Yeah. But not just that, but then you get some of their wit and clever stuff, like the Walt Kelly-ish kind of vibe where, when for the bridge, he mentions seeing it on a bridge, bridge of the song, which, it's a pretty gentle joke as far as it goes, but it just the idea
it's a softball.
Just the idea that you're, they throw in so much, and I remember hearing years ago, someone took a photo or something, or someone posted to the old mailing list or news group being like, I drove under a bridge and someone had spray painted, I don't want the world, I just want your half, which I think is something fans did more than once. I don't know if that's like an urban legend or not, but I think that's kind of a beautiful thing.
When I was driving once, I saw this painted on a bridge.
I don't want the world, I just want your half.
Yeah, I mean, I love the woman that calls in from work.
Yeah, so it's sort of like with Absolutely Bill's Mood. Something they do a lot is they call up unsuspecting friends of theirs and get them to record stuff for their album.
I think that moment had the biggest impact for me of hearing this. I don't know how intentional it was. To me, it sounds like
sexy woman.
Well, your mileage
femme fatale,
may vary,
if you will.
Your mileage may vary. To me, she sounds like a woman that's tired. And again, this might just be because she's at work.
John, why are you making me do this? Yeah.
But I don't think they would have put it in the song if it wasn't anything less than what they had intended for it to sound like. So she sounds like someone, and I'm sure fans also know that this line that she's saying has come from an argument they were having, or a discussion. I don't know if it was an argument about money.
Oh, I think it was an argument. That sounds like something you'd say in an argument.
Yeah, you think he's just like screaming that over the phone?
So what's the thing about that? There's so much to say. I wanted to talk about that line.
Sorry, folks, this is a big one.
This is a big one. We got a big one to get out. We're gonna be in here a while,
but
you might want to use the next one.
Great.
Oh, Dave disapproves.
No, I'm just saying.
So the original lyric wasn't "I don't want the world, I just want your half." Because if you listen to the original demo, the Dial-A-Song demo, Flansburgh says, "I don't want everything." which to me accurately portrays what someone could say in as they say, an argument about money.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting to me. You'd think they just go 50-50, right? I mean, we don't want to get into this. I'm sure they're way beyond it. But I think it's funny that they use that and put it in a song, because to me that means like, at least they gave us this like iconic line that is, a song full of standout lyrics. It's like a huge, meaningful line.
Well, yeah, because especially the intentional choice of having the female voice say it. Maybe that's Anna Ng. Maybe that's someone who was never discovered. Maybe that was the person that was supposed to be their soulmate. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
So the other lyric about the Dupont Pavilion, Dave, why don't you tell me what the Dupont company is, or what the Dupont Pavilion was?
They make plastic.
Yeah, so they had a show at the 64 World's Fair called The Wonderful World of Chemistry.
DuPont will have 2 theaters and an exhibit area where fairgoers will see better things for better living through chemistry.
Every day that we are living is such a thrill that we can't stay nonchalant. Better things for better living are coming still. That's the promise of DuPont.
Linnell is making like a kind of a sub-layer pun because about like romantic chemistry, right? Uh-huh. And the thing is, it's like a lesser writer, or maybe like a slightly lesser writer, because you'd still have this really great idea for a song, would point out the wonderful world of chemistry, like in the lyric or something, like they'd be like, oh, I had this cool connection, I'm gonna say it. But Linnell like withholds it, so you'd have to either do the research or just trust that the narrative ideas in the song all kind of fit together. But so that's like another thing I love about it, is that it's like a pun. Like they might be trying, they don't just have puns in a literal sense, but the puns are kind of like throughout the tapestry of the song, like under everything. So just finishing up with the lyrics, though honestly, who could ever really finish up the lyrics with this song? Because it's endlessly rewarding. But it sticks like a broken record. Everything sticks like a broken record, and he kind of sings it in the exact same way, as if it's a record skipping, which again like lends itself to a lot of thematic things. The idea of this thing repeating and never resolving itself.
It's such a self-aware song.
Yeah, and then having it fade out at the end is part of that. When you fade out in a song, I mean, you could just do it for no reason. I think it's best for songs that thematically have a kind of idea that it's just endless, right?
A repeating motif.
It's just never going to resolve.
I agree.
It's like for maybe like a punk song that's just like, it's about this fuck thing, and then it ends and it's kind of a statement, and certainly most of their songs end like that. But for Anna Ng to fade out, and again, with a lot of their songs don't fade out, it was like a very important choice, Yeah. One thing musically I wanted to talk about, the scatting. Dave, do you even know what I'm talking about?
No, what's
the scatting? There's weird vocal ticks in the last verse of the song, and I once had like a huge argument with a few fans online because they claimed that they were not there.
Okay, let's have the argument now.
Okay, at the end of the song, you hear Linnell making weird vocal noises way in the background, bouncing around the stereo.
Wow, I've never heard that.
I'll play the clip for Dave now, and I'll see if I can get him to hear it.
Yeah, please.
Everything sticks like a broken record. Everything sticks until it goes away. And the truth is we don't know anything.
It's not scatting.
It's like,
it's just little like outbursts.
What would you, that's a good word for it, outbursts.
It's outbursts repeating like the last syllable of each thing that he's saying.
Not really the syllable. No, I wouldn't say that, because it's like, they don't need me here. It's kind of like hard to imitate.
I always thought it was just...
I feel like we're crapping all over this beautiful arrangement they have.
I always thought it was just the last syllable repeated of...
No, let's listen
line.
again.
Yeah,
it's like,
bro.
But.
No, he's saying bro, kin, wreck. It's all right. So it's the first syllable of every line.
He goes, where the world goes by like human, and during that line he's going, buh.
Well, folks, then I have no leg to stand on. My
point, I disagree with Dave. I don't think it connects to the sounds of the words that the main vocal is doing.
The word broken definitely did, though.
Yeah, I'll give you that. How about that? I'll give you
We're
that.
shaking hands, everyone.
Has no one ever spoken about this part of the song? It's weird. To me, this is like
It's a very weird, specific decision.
Yeah, that's what interests me about it. And I try to do this in the music that I make, is think of those weird things that, like, I don't think anyone's done this, you know?
Yeah.
What was it like in the studio when they're just like, oh, this needs something,
yeah.
right? And it's like, what does this need?
I can't think of an example of when I've done that in a song.
Yeah.
It's too specific and esoteric.
Yeah. So it's like this needs some sort of a vocal feeling that isn't a word, and it's not a harmony, right? They're not harmonies.
Yeah.
They're almost percussive. It's kind of almost like having like a bongo go like boom, 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 you know, but it's his voice and he's going like ba ba, and I feel like it does highlight the theme of the Edge of Hearing theme, that there's like voices just out of reach that you can't hear. By the way, that's the first time I've thought of that idea. So I love that. And then I mentioned it before, but the Autoharp in this song really classes the joint up, doesn't it? I mean, it does for the whole. It's in the album a few times. I always thought the Autoharp was like an underrated. A lot of people for the song talk about the guitar and the heavy gate effect on the guitar. For all you music gearheads out there, it's that you don't hear the guitar trail off after a chord. So instead of it's so that kind of becomes like a big thing about their sound, and it's in a couple other songs on this album, but in a more subtle way.
To do that in real life, you would have to mute the chord incredibly quickly. It's almost impossible.
It's very
because you would have
hard.
some kind of crackle or decay to the chord if you did in real life. It's pretty much something you can only do in a studio effect.
Yeah, and like I wonder if you can even thematically connect that. Like the guitar isn't decaying; it's just kind of like stopping dead. But then the Autoharp kind of is to me makes the song.
That's the romantic part.
Yeah, it makes the song romantic and kind of bigger than just like a pop band, right, or a rock band. It's sort of bigger than the two of them.
So you have the frustration of the abrupt chords mixed with the romance of the Autoharp.
The Autoharp, yeah. I mean,
that's love, people.
That's love. So that's
good night.
You'll be one of the 70 million, perhaps 80 million visitors to see this, one of the most spectacular shows of all time. And now, until April 22nd, 1964, so long.